Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the preacher. Okay. Well, guys, I want to say that being a stay at home wife and mom was the best thing for me and my children. It was the best thing. It is the best thing for the family to stay at home, if at all possible. If at all possible. Of course, there are many, many, many situations where it is just not possible. So I was just listening to a video of multiple women who regret being at home. Now, I'll admit, I do regret the consequences of my husband's leaving me for other women and marrying these other women. I regret that part, but I don't regret what I did. I believe what I did was best for the family. Even though, yes, 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 just like these women, one after another are saying, don't be a stay at home wife and mom. Don't, because these men are going to leave you and the kids. This one lady was talking about how her husband is a pilot, make over well over $100 an hour, and she has to apply for welfare. Some men go out of their way to make sure when they leave you with nothing because they want to take what they consider their money and go give it to the next woman. So that's what these women are saying. And yes, that's what happened to me. Yeah, twice. Twice. The second divorce, I was blessed to get alimony. So I'm still at home. I was granted a 5-year monthly alimony amount. So, yeah, one day my alimony will run out, like in about a year or so. It's going to run out. But, I've had time to, over the past 5 years, to, figure out ways to keep going, you know. And I do realize that I'm blessed because a lot of women do not get alimony and things like that. So I do realize that, especially Black women, especially us. In fact, I'm probably the only woman in my life that I can recall, you know? I mean, like, it might be a person or two that I'm just forgetting, but for the most part, I think I'm the first woman to get alimony that I'm aware of in my life, in the Black community. You know what I mean? A few women here and there have gotten child support to help, but that's rare. And, among the people that I know, to get child support is rare, let alone alimony. But even though I was, left twice and those men, moved on to other women, and married them and everything, I still don't regret the part that I played as far as being there for my kids. And people think just because you sacrifice and be there for your kids, that mean that your kids owe you perfection. They cannot make a mistake in life and all that. No, your kids are going to be just like everybody else's kids, normal, just normal kid stuff. And just because you sacrifice as a mom doesn't mean that, they have to be straight A's and, the president of the United States and stuff like that. Now, if that happens, great, but that's not why you stay home. You don't stay home just so your kids can be perfect. No, you stay home so that they can have the basics in life. The basics. you know. And the greatest fear for women that stay at home is that the husband will not provide for them financially as an individual woman. He may do the very basic stuff like, buy your tampons, maybe some shampoo for your hair. You know what I'm saying? That you're going to sacrifice. You're not going to just be rolling in dough, and you're not going to be as though you're working. Your husband is not likely to take care of you as though you are taking care of yourself. It's just not going to happen. Now, are there some men that know how to provide to that extent? Yes, there are men who can provide for the woman and children in ways that supersede anyone's expectations. But for the most part, men are not like that. They're not raised that way. They don't have enough examples of it. And so they're pretty selfish. They feel like when they work, that's their money. And the women and kids almost have to fend for themselves. And that's the part that's imbalanced. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me, but that's the world we live in. So today, the stay at home wife and moms of today, just know that what you're doing it for the children. You're doing it for the children. And doing it for the children is also doing it for yourself, too. Is there a huge risk that at the end of all of that, that your husband is likely to not share the blessings with you? There's a very good chance. A very good chance. And for some women, that is motivation to enough to just simply work, put the kids in daycare, and keep it pushing. And I take my hat off to those women. I'm not mad at you at all. The women that gotta work because they know their husband is not gonna do right, and they're not willing to, I get it. I get it. But for me, no matter how dumb I feel, how broke I feel, how whatever, embarrassed and humiliated and all of that, no matter how I feel, at the end of the day, I do not regret being there for my kids. I don't. I don't. It's worth it. And I'm still home, even though I don't have a husband. But thank God for that alimony. And I'm still able to be home and make sure that my daughters and my grandkids are okay. Now, a year and a half from now, or however long I have left for alimony, we'll just have to see, what's going to happen then. But for right now, I'm okay. I'm a minimalist. I make what I get stretch over 3 generations, which includes myself, my kids, and grandkids. What little I get, I stretch it. And I do still stay home. And if I'm blessed, I'll be able to continue to stay home because again, I live very minimally, you know. I learned how in marriage. When you have the kind of marriage where he pays the bills but doesn't really just put money in your hand so you can, get your hair done, nails done on a regular basis and you know, most of our extra money went toward the kids, AAU sports. All my kids were some type of athlete. Some worked. Some were such athletes to the point where they couldn't work. But the star athlete types. But the ones that were not on that level, they were very involved with everything. They worked. You know, so the stuff that stay-at-home moms make sure happen. That's what I did. So I don't have any regrets as far as what I did for my kids. None. I just hate that the fathers did not take care of me at the level that I deserve. They didn't take care of me back at the level that I took care of our kids. So that's the part I regret is what the men did not do. Not that they didn't do anything. I'm not saying they didn't do anything, but they didn't finish. They didn't finish. And it is what it is. And yeah, women who choose to be stay-at-home moms, um, you know, don't expect to be rich, you know. It's almost like you accept that you're not going to be. And then if it happens to happen, great. If it happens to happen, like I'm still working toward it, why not? I'm still putting things together and hoping and praying that I can still, you know, strike it rich. It's not impossible, you know, at all. But I'm content where I'm at. I'm content, although I'm still working on it. I know the risk that I took in letting my whole career, all these degrees, education, and stuff go for a man, you know, his desires, his wants. So flipped it and said, okay, this is not so much for a man. This is for the kids. Me being here doing what I got to do is for the kids. I wanted to make sure that my daughters, had the best, that my sons had the best that we could provide. I wanted to make sure they were well rounded. I was suspicious about some things, and I'm glad I was home to, make sure my suspicions were, you know, valid or not. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I believe that I did the best I could where I stood. And I don't regret being at home with my kids. And I don't believe any woman should. Don't regret it. Yes, it comes with sacrifice. Yes, you may end up with the short end of the stick and all of that. I understand. I get it. So I think it's good to stay home with your kids if at all possible. But if you can't, you can't. And I understand that too. Me staying home came with a lot of sacrifice on my part, a lot of humiliation, embarrassment. When your husbands are always seeking other women, want other women, feel like you're not enough, you don't, you know, meet their standards or whatever. It's really challenging. It's really challenging. And it's either, in my case, it was either stick out this marriage and make sure my kids get what they need out of life or leave him and work and never really be there for the kids. I just didn't see it any other way. Either I be home and be there or get out there and work and try to, it's just, and I've seen women be successful. I've seen women work, take care of home, kids, and everything, and turn out just fine, send kids to college all by themselves. I've seen it. It's like, wow. You know what I mean? So I know it's doable. I just chose not to go that road. It's either deal with an employer and hope and pray over the years that it all work out and you get your kids processed without the fathers in the home, or deal with the fathers. Either way, chances are you're going to be dealing with a man, either some boss at work or the man at home, you know. So it's a decision that each woman has to make for herself. And I made the decision twice. The first time I was the one that physically like left the home, but he was the one that was, constantly seeking other women all the time. And I just got tired of it. And I walked. And and as soon as I walked, within no time, within weeks, really, the next woman was living in my house, my marital home. The next woman was moved right on in. You know, I'm like, okay. So I just kept it pushing. They end up married and I end up married. And then going through it all over again. So this time I've decided I'm not going to marry again. Um, I'm old now. I don't need to go through all that. My kids are grown. I check that box. So now that my kids are all grown, I have grandkids, I'm stable enough, you know, still working on myself, working on my family. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for all those years that I was at home. I'm thankful for all those dinners I cooked, all those dinners and running kids around and, helping them with their social skills and have friends and, all the family vacations. And I enjoyed all of it. I loved every moment of being there for my kids. Every moment. I mean, I really went above and beyond making sure each child had friends, making sure each child had extracurricular activities, just making sure each of the four children that we raised in our home were well rounded as best they could where they stood. We can only hope for the best for our children, and provide the best environment we can for them to thrive. That's all we can do. And then the rest is up to them. And I believe that I did that for all four of our children, gave them everything they needed. Was I perfect? No. But it's not about being perfect, it's about being there, being committed, being intentional. And where there's error, correct it. Wherever you can correct your mistakes with your kids, do it. Explain the situation, apologize if needed, and keep it going. That's how I look at life. Well, I thank you all for listening. I just wanted to respond and encourage as many women as possible to be home if you can. If you can't, you just can't. I get it. But being at home is more so, it's for the best interest of the children. As a mother, you may not end up with, much in the end. Now, for those of us who are blessed, those mothers that are blessed and still, they get to be at home and everything work out in the end. Your husband's not trying to cheat you or run off and get some other woman where you earned and all that kind of stuff. That's a blessing. That is a blessing all day. And for the women who struggle with being able to, work and juggle all the kids on her own and have to pay all the bills and he don't really contribute and all that. I pray for you guys. My heart go out to you guys. And my prayer is that you have enough family, friends, and support, to keep you going when the fathers are not there. They're not there with time, effort, energy, money, nothing. It's just, you know, dry. So the second time I decided to just go ahead and endure the cheating, endure all that. Just endure it. And I focused on the kids. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm not saying it's smart, but I did find value in it. It came with feeling, foolish and humiliated. You do have to process those type of feelings. You do. I remember the many times I just felt stupid. I'm really just dumb, you know, in this marriage. But I looked at the kids and say, they don't see it. They don't see how dumb I am. You know what I mean? They just see a mom that's here. Now, thankfully, I'm able to see through my daughters you know, how it benefits. But my sons, I don't. I don't have a relationship with the adopted sons. When he left me, well, 5 years ago, um, I let the boys, they were grown, 21, 22 at the time. They're what, 26, 27 now? They're men. Um, I just had to let them be with their dad, because the breakup was so disgusting to the point where I just think it's healthier for the adopted boys to be with him. They all have a lot in common, you know. Let them be men. And I focus on the daughters that I gave birth to, that I came into the marriage with. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I know I did the best I could and I gave them a good life. And I don't have any regrets about the kind of mother that I was, the one that did stay home and make sure my kids were good. And it's not my fault. It don't fall on me that the man in our home, the leader, abandoned. That's not my fault. So again, moms out there, you young women out there, hang in there if you can. Hang in there. Being an at-home wife and mom is best for the kids. It really is. It's best for the kids. And I know it's a lot of moms say, well, what about me? What about me? You will be blessed. I am blessed. I'm okay. I went through a lot. I mean, I actually endured 5 suicide attempts trying to get through that marriage. But I did endure. And I haven't had any attempts since before he left, a little before he left, I've been fine. And since he been gone, I just get better and better since he been gone. You know, I still deal with the embarrassment, the humiliation. I still deal with that from every once in a while. It comes over me like I was so stupid. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I deal with that. But which is what those women in the videos are describing. They depended on a man that let them down and they just sitting there like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? What did I do to my kids? Why did he have to do us like this? And blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And of course the men have their reasons. Oh, you talk too much, you whatever, spend too much, you this, you that. They're gonna have their complaints. But whatever complaints they have, you cannot weigh it. It doesn't justify abandonment, just flat out abandonment. How does it just? What can a woman and kids do to justify abandonment? Now, some women, are cheaters. They out there running around in those streets and having babies by more than just their husband and stuff like that. I get that. I get that. I do understand stuff like that. But at the same time, if the husband is doing it, usually, the wife will copy. I mean, like, who wants to be sitting around looking stupid? You out there living your best life. Why can't she? I mean, like, and I know because I make the money. Really? Does money give men the right to be whores? Just because a man has money, it gives him a right to be a whore? Just because he has money, he has the right to keep it from the wife and kids? Just buy the bare bone minimum? Like pay the bills and one pair of shoes a year and you know what I mean? Like what? you know. While he out there living his best life, running around with other women. Now, if a man is not doing all that extra stuff and he's just on a tight budget, that's one thing. Any woman can endure a faithful man on a tight budget. But a man that's penny pinching you, breadcrumbing you, and running the streets, come on, bruh. Come on, men. Y'all can do better than that. Come on. But I know y'all don't want to, and that's fine. Men don't want to do better. They just want women to adjust to their bad behavior. We have to adjust to them. That's why I am out of the game. I'm out the game. I already put my time in. I put mine in. And so now I can, enjoy my life now. But that's the thing. I'm rewiring my brain as to what enjoying life means. For 32 years, enjoying life was all about family. Well, now that my family has, matured and graduated and all that, now I have to rewire my brain to enjoy me as an individual who happens to have kids and grandkids to enjoy as well. Yeah, so far so good. So far so good. And because I've always lived minimally in a marriage, living minimally outside of the marriage is the same so far, you know. And I know it's because of the alimony, thank the Lord. But I will be out there working possibly, you know, possibly. But I'm trying my best to stay home because I enjoy helping with my grandson. I have a 6-year-old grandson that I've, you know, taken under my wing. And I want to give him the attention he needs. And I know how to do it. And it's best done from home. And I know that from experience. So I'm going to figure out how to be able to stay home and care for my grandson, just like I did for my, 2 natural daughters and 2 adopted sons. I want to do that for my grandson too. So that's my job, is to figure out how to stay home. I'm not going to get married again, so I'm not going to go that route. I don't want to be cheated on and played with just so I can stay home. I'm not going to do that. So I'd rather figure it out myself. Let life happen. I'm shocked that I've been divorced all this time and have been making it, guys. I mean, I'm not shocked, but I am. You know what I mean? I mean, I knew I could do it, but I never had to before. I never had to before. I'm not one of those women who I've never been on my own, independent, like working and paying bills all by myself and stuff. I've never been that woman before. So this is kind of like my first time, and I'm still not all the way there. Again, I live on alimony and I have a daughter. We share responsibilities here. I have a daughter that's 31, never married, no kids. She has no desire. She don't want no kids. She don't want no husband, no kids, none of that. She may want a wife one day, maybe. But as far as a husband and some kids, she's like, nope, that's not happening. I said, I'm not mad at you. So all my grandkids come from my other daughter. I have 8. 8 grandkids from one daughter. And yes, she is at home. She is at home. She's a minimalist like her mom. She understands, But because I understand the sacrifice that she's making as a wife, whether her husband understands it or not, you know, just like with my husbands, whether they got it or not, we as women know what we're doing when it comes to, being at home for the husband and kids. Now, whether the husband's a preacher or not, and gonna compensate you justly or not, you know, there's no guarantee. And my daughter know that. She witnessed what I've gone through. And so what I'm doing as a mother who know what she's going through, whether her husband, is committed to the bitter end or not, I want to make sure that she's going to be okay. I want to make sure she's okay either way. So that way she can be at home focusing on her kids, her family, without the fear of being abandoned with nothing one day. So that's where generational wealth and family come in. But a lot of men will strip a woman away from her family and friends. Even if he have to sleep with them, he will sleep with her best friend, flirt with her sisters and all that stuff just to pull her away. Because he knows she's so committed and so locked in that these family members are not gonna replace him financially. So what do he do? Move her away or drive everybody away where she don't believe anybody what they're saying and just depending on him. And these men will, they'll sleep with your best friend, your sister, your cousin, anybody that let them. They just go through the family. In our case, it was our daughter's girlfriend. The one daughter, her own stepfather got with her girlfriend, took over that relationship. And to this day, they're the ones connected, the stepfather and my daughter's ex girlfriend. They're still connected, even though he's married to somebody else. But that's how it worked. That's how men do. When they're done with you, they leave and just tear up everything on the way out. Some men, not all, of course. But these are the things that stay at home wife and moms deal with, you know. Now, working women go through the same stuff. Your husband will have you out there working, 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 and still messing around with your family and friends behind your back. So I don't have to go through any of that crap anymore, guys. I'm done. When I say I'm done, it's like a big old huge relief. That don't mean I won't enjoy people and have fun. I'm just not gonna ever claim nobody. No one needs to claim me. I want to depend on myself and my kids and my grandkids. Depend on myself, us, for here on out. And just have friends. No more commitments. No more all that other stuff. I'm done. And I'm just glad I made it. And I want to encourage other women that it is possible to make it. Once you make up your mind that you want to be home with your kids, once you make up your mind, it's really not up to your husband anymore. You know what I mean? Whether he stayed with you or not, I mean, it's really between you and Most High. When it's between you and Most High, somehow, some way, you gonna make it. Just like with me, somehow, some way, I made it through all that cheating. I made it through all that lying, deception, and all of that. I made it through all of that. Even though I'm not with anybody right now and don't even want to be. You know what I mean? I want to have fun. I want to go enjoy people, but I don't want to be in a committed relationship no more. And that's fine. But I still want to encourage moms that choose to stay at home. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. There are women who just can't, and they're not, and that's fine. But if you can, do it. It's not always up to that man that you're married to right now. It's not always up to him. It's not always just about him. Sometimes most high. I know we forget that there's a most high up there. He has his own plans too. He has his plans. And when we're in alignment with him, he works it all out. Does it mean that you're not going to go through anything? No, it don't mean that. But whatever you go through, just know you're going to endure it. You're going to get through it. Whether it's with this man, a different man, or no man at all. Somehow, some way, you and your kids will make it. That's all I can say. And people will come and go. People will promise you all kind of stuff, and they just won't follow through. And that's fine. And some people do the best they can. They may start out with you and they just don't end with you. No husband is forever. Not one husband on this earth is forever. Everybody will die one day. Everybody will die one day. So whether your husband leave you for another woman, divorce you, die, it all add up to be about the same. Now, now if your husband just naturally die, that does affect your benefits differently than if he just run off, take all the money and give it to some other family. That's a different effect. I will admit that. A huge difference in finances on how you continue to live with your kids by him. So all of it has to be looked at and weighed out. But regardless to what happened, just know that Most High has you. He has you as a mother, and he has those kids, either way. So when you make that choice as a woman, I'm going to stay home with my kids, know you're doing it for them, even though there's a chance that the husband may or may not have your back. The kid's father may or may not have your back. It's a 50-50 chance. And some people will never believe that. They will never, oh, my husband will never, 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 never. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. But look at statistics, look around you, and just be prepared emotionally, spiritually, for the possibility that he can either die, divorce you, leave you for somebody else, or whatever. I'm a woman, so I speak as a woman. This can apply to men too, of course. Of course, all this can apply to men as well. It's not just a one-way street on this topic. But I'm a woman who went through it as a woman, so that's why I speak this way. Are there men who stay home with their kids? Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's wonderful. Any parent that can give the kids that much attention, that's the best type of parent to be if you can. If not, then it's understandable. Very understandable. All right, guys, that's all I have to say on it. You know, you all be blessed. Have a great day. Click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Keep up with your girl. Share my videos. I have like 6,000 videos. Binge watch, knock yourself out. I'm not monetized anywhere on social media, but I do have a PayPal for donations or love offerings. My PayPal is Dr. Leisha the Preacher, just like on my channel. Thanks for listening and have a great day. Bye.